Oh, sure, we're in it. It's Friday, of course. I believe I just gotta check. Give me 1 second, guys. Just gotta check.
Happy Friday, right?
Cheers.
Yeah.
Friday is Hawaiian Shirt Day. So, if you want to, go ahead and wear a Hawaiian shirt and jeans.
I just wanted to make sure because it's been so long. If that was still but yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
It can't be Hawaiian Shirt Day for Rhett yet. As soon as the NFL season's over and the Bills
Are you joining?
have the championship, then
Yes.
I'll can maybe participate. But as of right now, I got to support my squad.
Too serious, eh? It's
Oh,
We're pretty dialed with the gear this week.
We're
He really
focused.
has.
yeah.
How are we feeling? How are the nerves?
I'm more confident about this game than the last game, to be honest with you, which is probably a bad sign.
It's not a good. Well, it could be either way, right? It could easily be shaped as getting a little ahead of yourself.
I think the Baltimore was the scarier opponent. To your point, Rhett. But you also don't want to see the Chiefs have the ball with 4 minutes left.
No. I don't want close. I don't want no.
I would have picked Baltimore to beat KC.
Ew.
I really, really, really want this the Chiefs are frauds storyline to play out. They still haven't played anyone good, I don't think. But
so anything short of the when does that how far
this week, the argument's dead?
Is it
100% because the Bills are a very good team.
But the conference championship, that's still not you're a fraud in the final four.
Well, I mean, how do you feel about Houston, I guess is the question.
It's less about how I feel about Houston. It's just what are the Chiefs?
Well, that's what I mean.
You could easily or more easily argue that the Texans were frauds than anything else.
No one thinks
that's what he's saying.
Are good. The Texans didn't reel off an 11-1 start. The Texans didn't have a bye. The Texans aren't chasing a three-peat.
Texans didn't have a bye?
No, they played wild card week. There's one bye.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Point being just that, we've watched the Chiefs this year. They hardly covered the first 2/3 of the year. They're starting to get a little healthier. They don't look dominant, but yet at the end of the game, they're there with the W. And you're like, it's not impressive. How did they do it? And yet they're 2 wins away from a third Super Bowl. So here's a real opponent. They're going to have to win one. They're going to have to earn this. They're not going to just say, oh yeah, the other team shot themselves in the foot. We move on.
Yeah. Is this a Pinder narrative or is it out there? Because I don't really hear it anywhere else but when I'm sitting here.
I don't know. I think it's becoming the Patriots thing, right? People just don't like them. And they're starting roughly the passer calls are getting a little ridiculous. We're done with this narrative. The script that Goodell wants Taylor Swift.
I think the narrative that the Chiefs are unbeatable is out there. Do you know what I mean? 2 years ago, they were way more feared than this year.
For sure.
100%.
Rightfully wrong, right? Records might be better this year, but it just feels like the way they've won games hasn't been as impressive.
Correct.
It hasn't been
bad teams too. Yeah.
And I mean, I'm with you. I just like to kind of stir the pot a little
Flushing
bit.
it out. Yeah.
But is it not more impressive when they don't have, right? They didn't have Pacheco and Rashee Rice has been gone and Kareem Hunt. Anyway, they are. It's the least imposing roster that they've had, and because they're not covering Vegas spreads, I don't know if that's the way to look. They're finding ways to win despite on paper not being as strong.
I hated New England as a Bills fan, but as the whole narrative, Tom Brady get lost, the arrogance of this. But then eventually you were like, this is impressive stuff.
Gotta tip your cap here.
You may not like them, but what they're doing can't be done. And right. So I think if the Chiefs do it again this year, then it's kind of getting to that point. And what you're talking about, where it's like, yeah, you might not like the narrative that we're all talking about. You might not like the hype. You may not like the calls, but son of a bee, they win.
When the chips are down,
Patriots, when the Patriots, they would move on from talent, but they'd bring other guys in. Randy Moss, I'm trying to LeGarrette Blount. They would find guys who had been good. Chiefs didn't really do that. They brought Kareem Hunt back, I suppose,
Yeah, Hollywood Brown is supposed to be a guy, but
he hasn't even played. Like Juju Smith
a couple weeks
hasn't been great for them. Anyway, we'll do our picks a little bit later on. And by the way, this show brought to you by Bet365, the world's largest sports betting platform. Open that account, would you? Use that promo code NATION when you do it, would you? And whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. We'll do our football picks in just a little bit. And if you are in the chat and you would like to make a donation, it will get your comment shown on the show, and we'll move the money over to the good folks of the Youth Centers of Calgary. Kids got a place to go, got a place to stay, hang out after school, stay out of trouble, learn some good habits, all that kind of good stuff. We're doing it, and you know what? We put together a good little number, I would think, by now. I don't know what it is, but there's some money coming in.
Oh, Handsome Dan alone. We're talking
Handsome
some serious still. I imagine we'll see him again today because Wolf.
It's true.
Again, very good.
Early start time, so we'll see. Maybe he gets in, maybe he doesn't. But
yeah, that's true.
I got a new guy signed up for Bet365 yesterday. Saw Fuge at the game last night.
Fuge,
just
really,
it's helping our clients. It's Rhett moving the needle.
I don't know if you guys noticed, but there's a new addition in the Calgary region. I don't know if you can kind of search that out, but
yeah, that was me. So
an older Asian fella signed up.
Finder's fee.
Call him old. He'll be listening now. He'll be all bent out of shape.
Is he a whale, Rhett? Is he going to be putting like what?
He
How
might
big is his unit? Is he like a
big?
Is he like a 5K unit? Yeah.
Yeah, look, that's what they say around the dome anyway. Is
here's the
Fuge.
big unit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Flames win 5-2 over the Buffalo Sabres. Couple empty netters. Kind of makes the score look a little bit, but I guess
tense at the end there. Yeah.
Yeah. You were there, Rhett.
Stretch.
Let's go to Warner's whiteboard for
I'm curious. Like this is the first or maybe second game I've gone to. The first one though, I was mingling. Wasn't really watching. So we sat and watched this game with the kids yesterday and was entertained. I didn't think the Flames were great, but I was not expecting anything from the Buffalo Sabres either. But there was actually a couple hits, half-ass fight, seemed like a little bit of animosity. I'm curious if it was only because I was at the Dome and it changes that much for you, or what did it look like on the TV screen?
No, I was surprised that there was as much as emotion because there's no reason really for there to be. No. They don't see each other but twice a year. And I thought that there was a bit of maybe bad blood, but there was emotion for a Thursday night against an out-of-conference opponent, for sure.
Yeah, 16th place, whatever they are, like Eastern Conference opponent after having 4 or 5 days off. Now, I don't think the Flames came out of the gates ready to play, but
not a great start. No.
Like, you want to talk about emotion? Like, you watch Jacob Pelche, and you just think 31 teams could have had this guy for his basically rookie league minimum, like $700 and whatever $1,000. Like, I get that he wasn't right coming out of camp, and I don't know. Like, there's a couple ways to look at it. Like, geez, that's risky. Or secondly, it's like, hey, Connie's got some big brassy ones. He knew what he had to do to get this kid right, and all of a sudden he's playing on the top line, and you can see the crowd and his teammates and everyone feeding off his energy. It's the best game he's played in the NHL in his career, and it's not even close. And you could see that's a huge goal, and you couldn't stop noticing him. I think I'm leaving him up top for a while here with the big boys.
Yeah, 6 points in his last 5 games. He's got some goals there now, and we could talk about the kissing of the helmet.
He kissed Leslie's head too. I'd be more worried about that.
I saw that
I used to kiss Hashik's helmet after every game.
Yeah. All right, we'll allow it for the time being. But no, he is very exuberant. He's excited to be there. He's not new to the NHL. I mean, he's been around, but you can see that this is what it means to him. Because truthfully, he was. I mean, if he doesn't get picked on waivers and he goes down, maybe gets injured, because that's the other thing. He's had injuries that have kind of stood in his way, and he's been able to dodge that this year. Interesting move by the coach to make that move. And he said afterwards, I just didn't have enough guys that were going. He brings some energy. He can skate, kind of like Pospisil with his line. You can throw him up, and he's going to be able to keep with the pace. And he did. I don't know if he energized the line or what it was. And it wasn't just second assists. He was in the play. I was impressed by him last night for sure.
Yeah, and it's nice to see because, at times during his, I guess, development, you're like, is this ever going to happen? Like last year we watched and we're like, he looks afraid. He's been hurt twice significantly, doesn't look himself, doesn't look anything like the guy that had a really, really strong AHL campaign the year prior. Like he went down and played the Wranglers in the playoffs and didn't notice him much. Like that's a horrible sign. That's not good. Yeah, and then camp's not great, but he clearly isn't, what he needed was what he got, which was he called it the slap in the face of being sent back down and a reminder to get back to work. And he certainly isn't taking it for granted now that he's back up.
Well, the importance for both the organization and the player, right? Not only are you happy for him on a personal level, the Flames can't miss on these picks.
Yeah, it's a first rounder. That's a middle six winger. That's an important piece.
That's the guy you're right. Like he's supposed to be slotted in here. Whether he's a 80-point guy or a 50-point guy or whatever, he's supposed to be playing. And when he's getting sent down and no one's taking him on waivers, you're going, there's a waste of a pick. You're like, son of a, this isn't good. Yeah. He's earned it, though. And he's, and he can't let up. It's not, he hasn't coasted into the clear where, oh, yeah, you're undeniable. You got to play that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if he keeps playing that way, I mean, yeah, it's been to Dean's point. It's a nice little run here for him. Like he hasn't been invisible. You're noticing him a lot, which is what you wanted.
And we've joked about it over the years about guys who are out there. Look how fast I'm going. Can you see how fast I'm skating? I'm ripping around the ice. Look at me. And it's like, did you touch the puck? Have you accomplished much? And there was a bit of that with him. It's like, look at me. I'm a water bug, but it's now starting to turn for him a little bit. Wolf. Another night where it's got to be a perfect shot or a fluky tip, amazing tip in front, one off of his own defenseman's stick, another off of another player's stick. He was solid once again. We talked about it the other day. We don't talk about it again. He kind of changes things. They've got a good goalie.
Yeah.
And they're going to have a good goalie here for quite a while. Right.
Yeah. I mean, he's got 1 year left on a deal that is his second contract, and you could literally lock him up for 8 years, starting, I guess, 9 if you include the year existing on it. Like that should be top priority of the offseason at this point. After what you've seen, it has to be, doesn't it?
Well, for sure, from the team standpoint, I guess it would be. Yeah,
100%. It's just like that's clearly your best player.
Not sure if I'm Wolf. I'm diving into that necessarily.
I mean, you could go make $2 or $3 million on a bridge deal. I mean, that's the game. Like, you definitely take the money and try to whittle back the term a little. But yeah, like he'll be making double or triple on a long-term deal what he would if they play hardball because he's got no leverage.
What do you see there, Rhett? Do you see him taking a long-termer right out of the chute, or do you say, I'll keep playing here for a couple of years and see where we're at?
Well, I think he's confident. And I think if I was him, I was literally listening to YouTube going back and forth.
Yeah.
I'm like, this would be what no. Cause I believe Cap's going to go up. Like it's going to be hard for a kid that's toiled that much to turn down a big contract. Like, and I don't think the Flames are going to try and put the squeeze on him.
No.
Right. Like, I don't think it's an 8 year at 5. Right. No. Like, so if it's in the realm of the top.
So what's an AAV if we believe he's in that top 10-ish, if he's going to be in that upper tier, what are we talking?
Well, I guess let's start with the bigger boundaries. So we know that good, but not great goalies are getting 5 everywhere. That's Mackenzie Blackwood. That's, Joey Decord, who I'm sure people in Seattle who watch more than we do would say he's a great goalie. Okay. But those aren't your like top 10. Those aren't your Sorokin, Shesterkin, Vasilevsky, Hellebuck, Ottinger, Demko when he's healthy. Like there's a category of guys that are like the elites. I don't know that Wolf's in there, but he's tracking to get in there. Like I think he will eventually be in there. So I think a conversation for the Flames, you can't start anything with a 5 or a 6 would seem too low unless he really, falls apart down the stretch here. But he's been so consistent. Like in St. Louis, it was odd to see one go in that shouldn't have. Used to see that once a game with guys around here.
Is there
And it's a half season. That's the thing. Like it's still,
and that's
I know.
40 games.
I would wait. The other side of it is for the Flames. Yes, you want to get them locked up, and if you can do it, you might be able to get a good deal on them long term. But you're taking some risk too on a guy.
It's goalie, right? It's
We
still
feel
goalie.
confident right now, but there's always risk, right? There's always a risk. Just pay him when you got to pay him.
Yeah, I mean,
is there something to be said about? I don't know if the team's good enough, but trying to take advantage of that bridge contract and that lower number. Like you've got $20 million in cap space.
if you were a contending team, the bridge would be the move,
right? Like that's what I mean, though. But, like,
since you're not, in the sense that you've got 20 million, the strategic move would be go as long as you can to keep the AAV low. So when you are in a contention window and say 3, 4, 5 years, when all these picks, or whoever's going to make it start arriving on this roster, and you become a more desirable destination, like, hey, that's a good team that's close to winning, I might go there. That's when you want Wolf to be at the low AAV, not coming up for a new contract. And the cap's 115 million now, and he's a $12 million goalie. Like, shit, why didn't we just lock him in at 7?
Yeah, and honestly, like, I think the Flames clearly would want to do that. To me, it would just be the player. It would be what do I think I am? He has that confidence you talked about already. He's a confident guy. Looking at next year's salaries for goalies, the 11.5 kicks in for Shesterkin. Carey Price is still at 10.5. Bobrovsky's 10, Vasilevsky 9.5, Hellebuck 8.5, Sorokin 8.25, Swayman 8.25, Ullmark 8.25. Then it's Saros at 7.7. So I think
it's 7.5-ish, to be honest, but you'd have to finish the season strong.
I know.
I don't think
you're going to try
5-6 track record.
If you're going to try 5-6, something like that.
No.
So if I wait a year, I'll be in that 8.25, 8.5 range. I could make another.
Arb. If he posts numbers like this, he's going to get the 8 to 10. So
Saros is a very good
comp,
I think,
and he's making
7.74.
Yeah.
So, and the way we feel about it right now, an 8-year deal at 8, I'm not. If you're a top 10 and you're going to give us a chance to win, because in 8 years, that $8 million is a discount. You're getting him if he's playing the way he's supposed to.
So are you good at 8? If this summer you hear a 64 mil extension?
I said it the other day on the show, flop 60 million in front of him, and that sort of comes out around that 7.5-ish number. Because 7 times 8 would be 56, 6 times 8 is 48. Like I think you put 60 in front of him, and it's like, look, you might not be getting to the market at the right time here. I'm your agent talking to you now, but you could also blow your knee out and never get a sniff at $10 million the rest of your life. Like 60 is a huge amount of money that sets up generational wealth for your family. That's hard to say no to. Right. And this isn't like
how old, and you do the 8 years, and you can do the math, and you can say you can add on. Like that's what it's going to be.
Goalies play into their 30s much more comfortably than
how old is Wolf?
Other players.
24.
Is he 23? So you lock up his entire prime. Is 24 to.
Goalie's prime doesn't have to end as early as players, really.
No,
they're probably prime until 35.
Those are the best years. We would bet on the best years being in there. And if you're Wolf, you're like saying, then at 31, I can jump in as an elite guy that maybe has a Vezina or something crazy, and I can ask for 15 because the cap's 130 million, whatever it'll be by then.
Yeah, turns 24 in April, so the next season will be his starting as a 24-year-old, which he's a kid. Yeah. It'll be this is one that's going to be fun to watch for sure. It feels like there could be a big variance.
Yes, and I was just going to say, like Pinder said, throw 60 out there. Yeah, but to me, that's playing games with the kid.
Well, I mean, I
know what you're saying.
I'm not saying you got to do it this way because he can't say no. It's more just like, we love you. We think you are the future of this franchise, and we're trying to lock you up. It doesn't have to be now you might get injured. Like, I don't think the way I described it is
that number is to me, that number is it's the carrot. It's not we believe in you. We want you. Let's make this happen. 60 is a you should probably take this. Don't you think this would be good for you?
It's crazy to think that would be potentially taken as an insult, but that's what, 7.5 million.
And their goalies, like Chad Johnson was here for a year and he's still got the best.
Come on now. This guy's pedigree is different.
Let me explain. Goalies get hot and cold. I think Wolf is a mega stud. He's dominated every league he's ever played in. There's been naysayers a lot of places. I've been pretty consistent that I think this kid's going to be a really good goalie.
Okay, so then don't talk. I mean, then you can't talk
What I'm
about
also
jobs.
saying is that it's goalie. Carter Hart was supposed to be the next great Canadian goalie forever. It never happened, and now there's other issues that have occurred, but he never turned into an elite goalie. You know, we've heard about Spencer Knight for years. He's a guy in the league. So I believe that Wolf is going to be an elite goalie in this league, and he's starting to prove it now. This isn't just a hot stretch, that he can consistently do this because of his track record more than anything. Every league he's dominated. But again, if you're the agent, it's like, look, man, guys just disappear at that position. It's wild.
And that's why the other side works for me as well, as an organization and as a player.
Like, think about Matt Murray.
Well, yes, let's
World Cup winner, great goalie, awesome numbers, poof, gone. Trade your bad money. You're in the minors. Like, this position, especially volatile. And so that's why I think for both sides, it's like, yeah, you know, I think you could, where we're talking about is a reasonable place to end up.
What's a bridge look like?
I think based on he doesn't have ARB rights. Well, I got to see if he does have ARB rights because there's another year left on it. If he has ARB, that changes everything.
Yeah,
and again, he doesn't need a deal this summer. It's just when you can extend him is this summer.
Love changes everything.
I think they love him, Dean.
This is what this is. This is our opening statements for McLeod Law.
Yeah,
kind of got right into it there. Didn't want to bury the lead. McLeod Law. They are Calgary based. They are the very best. Whatever comes up in your life, you're going to be, well, do you have a lawyer? You're going to need a lawyer for this. Well, just take this to your lawyer and get this signed. Well, I don't have a lawyer. Actually, you do. McLeod Law. They're just down the street. They're right here. You're not going to get sent on some wild goose chase to Vancouver or Toronto or some New York office to find the people you're looking for. They are right there. And they just happen to be good people and the best at what they do. McLeod-law.com.
ARB rights. 2 summers from now. So that'll help get them more for sure. You could walk into ARB and say, look, here are my top 10 numbers from the last 2 years. Give me 8.
To your point, and I'm not looking to, I just wonder, you talked about, you don't want to insult the guy, or you don't want to, and again, it's $7.5 million. That's quite an insult. I'd love to get insulted like that. But when you look at his path to this point, remember we talked last year about what do you got to do to get this guy? Is this guy sour that he's not playing more? You got to get this guy some games. When's he going to have to break in? Do you think there was any part of that either last year or over the last couple years where he was sent down, he had to wait?
And Vladar ahead of him.
He's 24. This was not a fast track. He probably could have been here sooner than he was.
Well, he's made no fucking money. It's up to that was a harsh F for
no reason.
For no reason at all.
Whoa.
Sorry. Brett heated.
He's made no fucking money.
Brett said the Wolf has been screwed by the Flames.
Fucking Connie.
Continue on.
Yes, he's
it is kind of true. He probably in other organizations, if the goalie wins MVP, might move up and make a stab at playing with the big club, right? Like,
isn't Markstrom still on that last year of that deal? Like, he potentially could still be here, and he'd still be playing backup.
I remember Greg Millen was telling us all year last year, you can't be trading a guy like Markstrom. Look at Jesus, you spent your whole life looking for a goal. Like, come on, you got a kid. You got a kid here. You got to look at
bullets for Milty.
I don't think he's bitter anymore. I don't think that I think probably the last year he was going, when? Like,
which is why I say if you now try and slow play a contract, it'd be like this song and dance again.
It might
like
be
what do I have to do to prove to you that I am what I am?
Yeah, but it might be the easiest contract for Conroy. Because he can just, what do you want?
Yeah.
Well, I want a long-term deal. Okay, let's do a long-term deal.
Talk about the money. And look, you could say that, there was points where he would have wanted to be here faster. But it also, in hindsight, would be pretty hard to say the Flames haven't managed him really well.
No.
Right? And
they've managed him perfectly, Ryan. Or it's been...
Like, and here's the thing. The player at the time might not have recognize that, but at the end of the year he might look back and say, damn, like they really were super patient and didn't rush me too soon, and I thought I was ready, but now that I've been up for a full year, I understand that if you objectively step back and look, I think they've done a brilliant job bringing him up. They have not rushed him, and you've seen a lot of other goalies get rushed up. How's Devin Levi doing in Buffalo?
No, I mean, he may not have liked it at the time, but it's hard to argue with his performance.
Well, and if you put 70 million in front of him, he's no longer saying, well,
it's easy for me because I don't need to worry about cap or dollars or any of that. This one I'm not playing around with. And I know goalies, anything can happen.
Yeah.
But he's an American kid. And just that whole thing. If you've got a guy here, what's it going to take? We want to pay you what you deserve. Mm-hmm. We're thrilled to have you. Top 10 goalies, you're in that 7, 8, 9. Where are we going? Yeah. And at the end of the day, if you put 60 million, so that's 7.5. If you got to pay him 875,
so be it.
I'll compensate that million and change or under 2 million somewhere else on my roster to make sure that this guy's here for the long haul.
What is more important than him in terms of a piece on this roster?
Zero.
Nothing if he's playing this way.
And so if you're swimming in cap space, guys, they have 20 million this year. Never mind like the 40-ish they could squeeze in at the deadline, which obviously not doing. But they're also Kuzmenko's money off the books. Mantha's money off the books. Like there's, Coronado and Zeri and some other guys need deals. But like there is nothing. It's Wolf and a mile before the next most important piece.
Yeah, I agree. Don't make him wait.
No, he's top priority. And look, I love Connor Zeri. They're not losing 8 in a row without him. With Wolf, I begin to wonder if they would.
Yeah. It's a good spot to be in. Good job, Connie.
How about Connie?
And Wolf.
Yeah, I guess good for him too.
Can you give him a woo?
Want to be wooting hard?
I suppose I could. Now, I don't know where I put it now because I brought I brought the other board home here. I got a lot going on here.
Lion.
That's not it, right?
Lion. Yeah.
Okay.
Bishop.
Oh, wrong.
You like
he
him?
played last night. What do we make? What do we think?
Well, he didn't play in the third.
Oh, geez.
He and Kuzmenko and Karen's got to hammer popcorn in the third.
Why not? Oh, there.
Woo!
Thank you.
There you go. Yeah. It's fun watching him play, though. It's like, well, who tipped it? Oh, Rasmus tipped that in front. I feel like that we're going to remember that Parayko goal because that's going to be such an outlier. It's like, remember that one goal back? I think it was, what year was that? 25, 20 somewhere, that long shot by Parayko beat him. And
he should have had that one.
Again, and they were talking about it in between periods about Kipper. And maybe it's just because it's been so long since the Flames have had a goalie who you feel like is in the conversation as one of the best. But you come back to Kipper. His style is like Kipper. His demeanor is like Kipper, this whole thing. But that was the Kipper thing. You'd go weeks between finding a goal where you're like, maybe you should have had that.
Yep. And the other guys, like, it's one a game sometimes.
I'm giggling because, like, Markstrom was really good when he was here. For the most,
every other year, yeah.
So it's been a long time for that's poor Flame fans.
Yeah, I guess so. He let some stinkers in, though. Can you stop the first shot of the game? Would it kill you? Make a save, right? You know, a couple minutes in.
Sutter got fired year. It was tough going.
Yeah. Not great, Bob. Not great. Service Credit Union. The Service Big Share is back. It's in full swing, in fact, with your chance to win $1 million just by saving money. Anybody can enter. All you need to do is go to a Service Credit Union and become a member. Put some money into your account. Every $500 saved gives you 5 entries into the Service Big Share contest. The whole thing ends April 30th, 2025. Skill test required. You'll be fine. You'll be fine.
Worried about that skill test? I think they probably.
For rules, visit service.ca/win. There's other ways you can boost your entries. Set up your paycheck for automatic deposit into your service account to earn bonus entries. I mean, who doesn't do that? That's bonus entries.
Bonus entries.
You know, come on.
Win this thing.
Invest in a GIC, a good old GIC. Go to service and get a good old GIC. Great interest rates and term lengths, a high yield savings account. They'll tell you all about it.
I'm here for the gick.
Hi, guys. I heard about the $1 million, and while I'm here, might get one of those gicks you got going. Can anybody get me a gick while we're over here? Sir, please stop. Shout it. Just sit down. Someone will
Stop
be with
yelling
you,
gick,
right
please.
away. Service Credit Union. So you were at the match last night. You were paying attention, Rhett, you're saying.
Yeah, wow, jeez.
What happened?
To a certain extent. Yeah.
Who were you sitting with?
The fam Damler.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All of them?
Well, not the oldest. The oldest
okay.
wasn't here.
Right.
So like in seats?
Seats, yeah.
What?
No. Wow. Platinum Club seats. Get that.
Sweet up top there.
I like the free meal.
Yeah, the buffet.
Yeah, I knew there was a food.
What was in the
Ooh, brisket. It was real good.
Yeah.
Real good. Yeah.
Good stuff. Speaking of Markstrom, bad news there. Looks like he's out long term.
Yeah, I know that you were super worried. His Four Nations tournament now in jeopardy.
Damn.
4 to 6 weeks. Probably gonna miss. Samuel Ersson of the Flyers might have to fill that void. Swedes.
So why aren't you on them about their shitty goalies?
Well, they got UPL, who you told me was great, so I'm sure they're fine.
I never told you he was great. I told you he was great for half a year last year.
He was great last night.
I was spinning Mark's or Sabres go get a goalie. Like, no, they got their goalie. He was great. Best goalie in the league. I'm like, yeah.
Well, there's a great example of be careful.
I know. And that's why I jokingly said Chad Johnson. The difference is there's just a pedigree with Wolf that these other cats don't have. Like, he's been an MVP and league winner everywhere he's gone, pretty much.
Just want to do so. You know how I love to do it. We had, if you didn't see the show yesterday, Rob Ray was in for a good hour.
Oh yeah,
we shot the shit with him and went over some things. And I had talked about at one point, just the draft picks that they've had. They go Owen Power at number 1 in 2021. Cousins at where to go 7. Dahlin was a first overall. Middlestat at 8. Jack Quinn at 8. I mean, they're all playing. Middlestat's been traded for Bo Byram, and you like Bo Byram. But there's nothing, it doesn't feel like there's anything real franchise shifting. As good as Dahlin is, I think he's a good player. What's Owen Power? He's still young, I get it.
Yeah, D-man too, yeah.
D-man.
Are you wanting me to answer?
I'm kind of curious.
You've seen these guys
too, because he's not excelled at or looked as good as anyone hoped in Buffalo, especially. I still think there's Victor Hedman wasn't great when he started his career in Tampa Bay. You didn't hear a bunch about him. Then all of a sudden he's one of the best. Ekblad.
Yeah.
Ekblad in Florida. You still don't hear much about him, but I'll tell you what, that team without Ekblad struggles. I think Powers will grow into. I think the defense there that just playing that position, little longer, a little harder to have impact on games. You got to learn the position, tougher competition. I still think there's lots of growth for him, I guess is the point.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't be surprised if all of a sudden it just clicks and you're going. I don't know how it works. Sorry, Ryan. My last point I make. I don't know how it works with a Dahlin and a Power, though. Like, maybe it's unbelievable. Maybe it's a Pronger Niedermeyer thing. But is there enough ice time to...
They would seem like different players, right? It's not like Carl.
Yeah, at this point.
Yeah.
But I mean, Dahlin wants to play 25 minutes a night.
Yeah, and should.
So will Power. And maybe that's just fine.
Yeah.
Can you play them together?
Like Power, he's 22 years old already.
It was a weird COVID draft, and he went back to play another year of college. So he feels maybe a little younger than he is for a first overall guy, because most first overalls play. This slapped me over the face yesterday, like a thought, and I was like, why didn't this come to me earlier? Because we had Rob Ray in for an hour. Is the piece that they're missing not Jack Eichel? And I understand that things got toxic between the player and the organization to a point where they needed the divorce and it got messy and people did things vindictively rather than in the best interest of either party or both. But if somehow, some way, Eichel and the Sabres were on the same page and there wasn't that big falling out, put him in this lineup, delete a Tuck and a Krebs, and you're like, yeah, like that's probably a team that's a playoff team that looks really good. Like they're just missing that one guy that can go have the shift that swings the game. And it's got a lot of young, talented players. He's the superstar. That's and they could not have sold him for you know that if Jack Eichel's a stock, they sold rock bottom. There won't be a lower moment in his career
for no reason.
Yeah, they created it. They said, no. You've been mean to us. We don't like your attitude. Blah blah blah. You're not allowed to get the surgery
because they gave him what the $8 million. They paid him
10 times 10 or 10 times 8.
Yeah. They gave him the money. Hey, we love you. You're our guy. Even though we kind of maybe wanted the other guy, but you're our guy. We love you.
Yeah.
And then, I just don't know.
It's soured, and something had to have happened behind the scenes. There's no
100%.
way.
Yeah.
And the other thing I would say to answer your power curiosity is that I don't think the situation he's been learning under, and I hope Georgie Sweetland doesn't get upset with me making fun of the Sabres. I don't think they've run things well there, obviously, for a long time. Yeah. I don't think Donnie Granato was the guy. Donnie Granato had a great attitude for kids to develop with no pressure, but he didn't have a push button. There was no, you're not doing what we need you to, so I'm going to hold you accountable. There's a lot of easy skating. We're going to put you out there. We're young. We're going to help. There was no real accountability, and I don't think that in the long term, I don't think it works.
And I think that was a big part of why I think soured with Eichel. They just churned through coaches and GMs. It was a dysfunctional organization around him. So, of course, he looked around and said, I'm pissed off at, like, I get that. And I think it's continued to be their issue. Like, I look at Lindy Ruff and I'm like, that's the wrong hire. We had former players chat with us over the years.
Have they hired?
It's not structure. They need structure. And, like, he can bring the old school, blah, 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 work hard. But you've got all these talented guys. They need structure. They don't defend well. Like we've gone over it how many times this year, and you're like, why don't they know how to defend?
It's interesting though, Retro. They've had a long line of those of the wrong hires.
Yes, that's what I was just going to say.
Granato wasn't the right guy.
Pagula bought the team. Have they hired the right guy?
Ralph Kruger was the wrong guy. Dan Bilesma didn't work. Like they've
churned through guys.
Well, and even the GM side.
Agreed. Like, I don't think Kevin Adams has had any huge mistakes, but he also hasn't really changed much course. The Eichel thing was an ownership level decision. Clearly, it got that personal and that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I look at that roster, like you want a lot of those players. You would happily take most of that roster and be like, yes, we are adding talent. But what they're missing is the guy that they kind of sewered and botched. That's the guy they're missing.
And the Flames have to be out there thinking, okay, where's the next Eichel?
Yes.
Where's the next guy who's gone sour maybe that could come here for us? Because we've maybe got a goalie. We've got some good young players.
Yep.
But we need a game changer. We need a star.
I feel like you've got a nice second line, second pair, starting goal. It's just they're missing that. Who's your all-star? Like who's the guy that everyone's buying?
Wolf's your all-star.
Sure, skaters, I should say.
No, I know.
Who's skating? Can you say like that guy would make any team would love that guy?
What's another team in a similar situation? Like, is Dallas a best case scenario for a Flames type of team? Do you know what I mean? Like, Dallas is good. I think they're a great team, but they're big name guys up front, or maybe they're older guys.
Well, they got Wyatt Johnston and Rupe Hintz, who maybe.
But if Zaire and these,
maybe they can.
I'm not saying that they're there yet, but
Robertson had what 100-point season a couple of years ago. Like I don't see anyone here doing that. Not that he's that now, but he's put up some gaudy numbers. I don't see anyone here flirting with 50. Robertson, that's something that you'd expect from him at some point.
It goes back to the conversation we had earlier. That depending on what happens, it seems kind of unlikely that even with lesser goaltending, you weren't getting into the top 5 very often.
Well, top 5 doesn't matter. It's the top 10. That's where your pick changes hands. For me,
I just mean moving forward. Just if Wolf's going to be a good goalie and this is what your team is, and you want a guy who's going to really elevate you, then you're probably not going to be drafting him.
You have no. Well, I think that you and I, we're all wrong, because Ryan's opinion is that if you get, and just don't argue, Ryan. Ryan's opinion is that we got to be inside the top 10 or top 5, and then you'll get that pick. Well, it doesn't always work out.
Mm-hmm.
And we are like, wow, if we're picking 15th to 30th, well, what the hell? It's not a guy that's going to make a difference. You have to hit a home run somewhere. You got it right. Like Johnny Gaudreau was a 4th rounder. Like he's a superstar.
Yeah, you
have to find a way to make that 16th, 15th, 13th. What you won't have it this year. Like you have to find a way to make those hit and hit in a real. And they can.
And they have like they got Rasmus in the 2nd round. They've got like they've done quite well in some draft classes here with getting guys later.
I don't know. I'm talking bigger.
I'm talking home run.
Bigger. Yeah, I'm talking the 100-point forward. And you might have to because
the Mikko Rantanen type guy, right? Like
Pasternak,
like 8, 9, 10. Like Pasternak's late 20s. Like I don't think it's like, oh, we didn't get top 5. There's no skill left. Like Roger McQueen's like a 6'6" right shot centerman who's hurting Brandon. He's going to be somewhere between 5 and 10.
I don't want Roger here. I don't want his dad hanging out at my house drinking all my beer. This guy.
That's true.
I mean, what if he's on the barn burner stuff? Then maybe it's a financial windfall for us. I don't know.
Can't deal with it, guys. I agree, Red.
And I looked today. They're 4 points from a top 10 pick, and they're
I got distracted.
It's absolutely insane.
They're 4 points from top. What? How much up are they on?
3.
3.
I might have had.
I just think that the more Vancouver flounders, I don't think St. Louis has it, and I think the more that Vancouver flounders, the more.
Jack, you got it there, right? Is it in the queue just as far as the standings are concerned?
The more you're going to start to look at the opposite side of things, where it's like, F this, we can't squander.
So you see Utah there. Utah would select 10th overall if the draft is tonight, and the lottery didn't move anyone. It's wild how tight that is. Like,
it's always tight. We always pretend that it's not tight. When over the last, go ahead and show me. I'm happy.
No, it's just no one's ever been keyed in on like, 10th versus 11th from the bottom. It's only a thing because their 1st round picks attached to it, right?
But I guarantee you that the 10th and 11th most years are separated by 2 points, maybe if they're not tied and it comes down to something else, right? Like, we've never focused on it, but we're acting like, oh my God, it's tight. It's always tight. Like,
fair. Yeah,
8th to 12th is tight.
Yeah, and look, Vancouver looks like shit right now because they haven't addressed their biggest issue. They still haven't figured out their problem. And now I'm starting to wonder if what they'll look like post. But like, it's like, hey, why aren't they better? It's like, because the biggest issue still isn't being resolved.
It's not one.
How long does it take to get Miller out of there? What are we doing here?
Shoveler. Get the shoveler.
Thanks.
Biden? Come on.
Wow.
Isn't that nice?
Isn't it?
Sorry, keep going, Ryan.
I just think.
No, with Vancouver.
What if they pick the wrong guy? Like, we don't know the room. What if they pick the wrong guy?
I bet you there's a right and wrong guy, short-term and long-term, too.
Watch the post game last night with Brock Besser. It's like, we just got to turn things around. We got to, we're a good team. We just got to find a way to play better. Rick talking that we're just giving goals away. I don't know. We got to stop. We're just giving other teams goals. We're giving away wins.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure it's a JT Miller thing solely.
Oh, of course, it's not the only issue they're facing. But if we're not pretending it isn't the biggest issue they're facing, come on. No, you don't trade guys like Miller. It has to be a huge issue if you're actually thinking about it.
For sure, it probably is a huge issue, but that doesn't mean that if they do trade him, it's instant. We're going to win 15 in a row. Like, you are going to run into a spot where the game's like, we're only halfway through and it goes fast. Like,
you can see the pressure getting ratcheted up already where it's like, they get Washington this weekend.
The best thing for them might be this stupid 4 nations where they can get away from each other because it sure doesn't look like they're having any fun.
I agree. And if you look at the Rangers, it was sort of that similar spot where it's like they're just toxic. They get away for the Christmas break. They've been great in January. Like maybe that break is get that deal done, then hit the break, reset.
Yeah, in the last
quit cheering for them.
Oh, I don't know what's happening.
You don't even hear yourself right now.
No, you know what it is he's planted his flag in the take, so now he's got to stick with it. He can't abandon it.
Vancouver's beating Edmonton in the playoffs.
He would rather cheer for the Canucks than maybe be wrong, which is, I mean, geez, what kind of a world are we living in?
Wrong about what?
About the Canucks. Oh, they're going to get healthy. They're going to be great. You've been talking.
No, look, they might suck. I get it. Like that room could be absolute poison, and even getting Miller out of there, it's too late. There's clicks. It's just you'll never know until he's gone what they're going to look like.
In the last week, they lost to Edmonton 6-2, LA 5-2, Winnipeg 6-1. The Sabres beat them the other night 3-2, and they beat the Oilers. It's now they've won 7 of their last 24.
Yeah.
That's not playoff hockey.
Man,
if you've got JT Miller on the block, something's gone sideways.
That's not playoff hockey, is right, Red.
Well, and it happened now. Jesus, we're really talking hockey. Has it happened now that the GMs on other teams that want those players are going, here's your anchor, right? Like we can see you guys are spinning your wheels here. It doesn't look right. Like, are you? And when those guys will only go to a few different cities, and their freaking agents have told the teams who's in it, as far as their players are concerned, yeah, we take them. But
just sampling all the insiders, it seems like JT Miller is the guy that will move. That's the most likely outcome here. There was you could trade Pettersson, you could keep them both, you could trade just Miller. Trading just Miller is sounding like, according to all the insiders, the most likely outcome. They're continuing to work on a deal. He's 32. There's 5 years left. Like it's not dissimilar from trying to move a Nazem Kadri, where teams are like, oh yeah, he'd help us now, but you're going to have to sweeten things here because I'm going to have to chew on this deal for half decade. And we know there's not a half decade left on a power forward when he's 32.
And you know what's part of it too is we watched him play in the playoffs last year, and he was an animal. And I think this guy's a very good player. So what is he's not getting along with Pettersson, or there's something going on. Also, part of it is he's not playing well. He's got 8 goals in 37 games. So that's also part of it. What do you, like you say, what are you trading for? Are you trading a guy that's going to come in, be a point a game and lead your team? Or are you trading for a guy who
had to take off from personal reasons?
Yeah, who's not playing well. And again, we shouldn't talk about personal reasons, but I mean,
we're not. But if you're trading for a guy, you're going to take that into consideration. You're going to go, okay, wait a minute. I need to know what's going on here.
I'm calling Tampa Bay. I'm calling Brisebois and saying, what the hell happened? This is a high-end player that you guys added and moved on from rather quickly. You took a pick in a window to win a cup rather than keep this guy. What happened there? Like, it's not the first time we've heard JT Miller is an abrasive personality that doesn't necessarily mesh with everyone all the time. Yeah. Like, they're not going to get a huge return here. He's a great player when he's on, but it's the contract, the term, the circumstance.
It's a lot of term.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm not.
How many years left?
And I'm
5.
Not 5.
That's a lot of years. A lot of years. Today is, let me just check here.
Friday.
24th. Jan 24th. Valentine's Day.
Oh boy.
I'm telling you.
3 weeks.
Don't sleep.
Sneaks up.
No sleep.
To Brooklyn?
Correct. It's their motto at Vita Nova.
Mm-hmm.
Lab-grown diamonds. They are pristine in quality. Same chemical composition and crystal structure as an earth mine diamond. Lab-grown, same hardness, light refraction as a natural diamond, except you know what it isn't? It isn't dirty, dirty, dirty. It's perfect. Built and made in a lab. And then goes straight to, they have got a big diamond truck. Boop, boop, boop. And they have one of those big, like one of those tilty things. All the diamonds just go right in.
Those are called dump trucks.
Big dump truck.
They got those big bags that with
they got
the big
like a huge bin
carry them
at the new Market Mall location. And then they start ring. earrings, pendant, and then you go in and you're like, this is amazing. This looks perfect. Well, it is. Yeah. So why is
we made it. Yeah.
So why is it more affordable? Why is it cost less than the dirty diamonds? We're trying to tell everybody. And that's our job, is to tell you. Lab grown, better than dirty, and more affordable.
Dirty.
You don't want dirty. Are you going to? I'd feel for you if you went to one of those other places and bought a dirty diamond, and then you give it to your significant other, and he or she says, "Oh, is it? This is beautiful. Is it lab grown?" No. Oh, well, where is this from? Well, I think somebody dug it out of the ground.
It's a dirty.
It's dirty.
So someone got like a shovel and started like rooting through feces and dirt, and then you took this and then they polished it, right?
Yeah.
But it was like in the ground with the dirt and
dinosaur poo. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of. Have you heard of Vina Nova? They make it in the lab where everything's clean and pristine. And I'm sorry, babe. Next time, don't have that happen to you. Just skip that awkwardness and go straight to Vina Nova. Market Mall. So much parking. You won't believe how much parking. There's never been parking like this ever. And
some of the greatest parking we've ever seen.
Some of the greatest parking. Hours are better. Location is better. Parking is better. I don't think there's any tariffs yet on it, so
get there in a hurry.
Yeah, you're gonna do well at Vina Nova with our buddy Justin. Valentine's Day. I kind of did the old hey babe, Merry Christmas, Vina Nova.
Yeah.
Can I pull the same thing with Valentine's Day? It's like, well, we still haven't gone for the Christmas, so what are we doing?
Girl's best friend. I don't know that they'd be upset with that idea.
Yeah. Damn it. Gonna have to figure that out. Well, we are getting set for our trip. Our trip up to Jasper. I see you've got now. Do you have to take that with you?
I was asking what protocol is. Is this? This says 2024. This is ours to keep. This is not like the cup. I don't have the Stanley Cup. I don't hand this to this year's winner. The other one. Do we bring it to remind people, or is that just being more obnoxious than even us normally?
You better back it up if you're doing that.
I think you leave it.
I think so too.
I think you put it back on the mantle, which is what, on top of the beer fridge.
Yes.
You put it back on our mantle, and we'll see what they've got going. Now, I guess just for transparency, you put last year's team together, a championship squad.
That's correct.
And then the powers that be, a lot of them that have affiliation to Oilers Nation, basically took the GM reins out of your hands this year.
Yeah, we're playing under protest team, but we can still win this thing.
Okay. Because they've built the roster and then told you, here's your team.
They have, yes.
Like that's what they've done this year.
They said, this is the team. And I said,
ownership has come in and said, we love what you did as a GM, but listen, this is who you're playing.
Yeah. Friggin' Pagula.
Now, I don't dislike some of the new ads. It's just
you ass kisser. Let's be honest. You wouldn't have
players.
Don't.
Johnny Lazarus will be able to play.
It cost us deeper. Right?
Yeah, it cost us deeper. I don't like that. That's our MVP every year.
I mean,
what?
Cost us deeper.
He was there from day one.
OG.
OG. And like our best player. What top
Silky
one, top two?
Yeah. We're going to be leading
America.
I need a less hungover Jack. That's for sure.
Good luck.
You don't, Jack.
Don't worry about me, man. You should have seen yourself this morning.
Hammered already.
Were you drunk again last night?
Hammered?
It's the day before trip. You always have to have a couple.
You have problems.
Yeah, you do.
You can. Oh well, let's everybody else have a chat about what their life. Holy smokes, dude!
We got 7 guys. I don't mind. I don't know who Drew Lyon is. Who the hell's Drew Lyon?
That's called deflecting, Dean. That's called deflecting.
Yeah.
Changing the topic.
Hello. Check 1 2. That's it.
1 2 1 2. Thanks, Jack. Appreciate that.
So were you at the game last night and Dutton's after? Or?
Well, funny you ask. I don't want to talk about it.
Okay, good.
I actually I did a yoga class for the first time in 10 years because I'm like, you know what's going to get me perfect to dominate the Oilers? Get those hips nice and loose. The hips.
Right.
It's a little late.
Came out of that, watched the third, stopped in, made a cameo on Afterburner, and then tucked myself in. No big deal.
No. It's got to be more to the story than that.
There's a ship stop somewhere in there, but yeah, there always is.
How is there... It sounds like the ship is like at the end of the block from where you live.
Went drunk to yoga.
No, sober.
Okay, so yoga for the
hips. Loosen your hips up for the turning.
Then the third.
Had to get some food. Watch the third period at a pub nearby. Deleted a couple of Guinnesses. Split the G twice in a row. Never done that before. That was cool. And then, then I was like, hey, let's go to this neighborhood here. And then I'm like, oh, shoot, that place is a private event. Let's go watch Afterburner and say hi to Cammie and Yasmin. A little hangout, and then down to the ship for one.
So you went to the studio?
Yes, I was here last night. You have a beer fridge.
Yeah, if it was in your neighborhood, Dean, you'd do the same thing.
So you went to the studio to watch other people do the post-game show?
We just cut the last 5 minutes. Said hi.
There's something about you and Afterburner.
That's my baby.
We got to get some other people to do Afterburner, and then you do it, and you see he's in the comments.
I want to
watch it anyway. I don't know why. Why don't you just do it?
It's helicopter momming. That's what I'm doing. I'm helicopter parenting.
I'm not sure.
Always got to make sure it's running. Are we staffed right?
What's the approach though? Like, so you've got a big day today. You were drunk Friday, Saturday, Sunday last week. You were a miserable prick Monday, Tuesday. Wednesday was okay. Thursday you were barely on, so I didn't know what kind of mood you're in. And then by Thursday you're feeling good again, and you need a warm up for the 3-day weekend that you're gonna have.
Got those loose hips, feeling good.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
Driving up with Jack, we got the tiramisu in the console. We're ready to go.
Because you were hungover Monday or two. Which day was it?
It's
Monday.
Yeah, you fell into. Oh, I just didn't see that coming.
It's been clear sailing since.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
Didn't even have a beer after curling. Another win.
I don't know if another win is the like how many? Huh?
3 in a row.
Whoa.
No.
The reigning, defending, undisputed Jasper Pond hockey champions. That's what you're dealing with. And I can't say anything because I had very low hopes last year, and it was a championship.
Who could have seen that coming? You were
no one
bearish on the outcome, eh?
Yeah,
what have you got planned for team building?
Drinking.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what. Yeah. So we're doing the show today, and then heading to Jasper. You and Jack are going together.
Yeah. Carpool.
And RJ is up there already, or is on his way.
Yeah, he's doing something separate. He's got 1,000 pieces of equipment.
Was RJ at the hockey game last night?
He's rented a U-Haul.
No, he was Jasper.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
how many
Oilers
are you gonna have to make some stops along the way?
We're gonna need to eat at some point, Jack. Where do you want to do that?
There's a great place in Banff. They've got a tap room.
There's this great distillery. You're driving now, by the way, Jack.
Pete's Drive-In in Red Deer.
Not going through Red Deer. We talked about actually getting a Richmond wheel on the way out of town.
Right.
That's road food.
Jack has that debt to the show, so I thought we'd cash a few of those.
Yeah, Ryan was like,
what happened to the food yesterday? I thought
Well, we didn't know if Rob was coming. It's like, well, if he comes in, I don't know if he can stay because he's going to morning skate. I was going to get some food brought in, but if the food shows up and he had to leave at 10:30 or whatever for a morning skate or something. That's all.
People are asking about footage and updates. What can you tell them about the Jasper tournament, Dean, as defending champs? What kind of coverage we'll have?
I have no idea.
All right. Can you take pictures of us and video of us doing dumb things and put those on the interwebs at some point?
There's going to be cameras and microphones. There are things I think they are actually setting up, because last year they set up in the main lodge because there was a big Oilers watch party. Let's do a thing. I think they're actually setting up in one of the cabins.
Really?
Like I'm telling you, it's an unbelievable setup. I don't know who they think we are, but they treat us like gold at the Fairmont up there.
Yeah.
They gave the Oilers Nation folks this. What do they call it?
There's the Gardener's Cabin year 1, and then they had the other one year 2 last year. That was, I don't even know if it was. More
I think it's the Gardener's Cabin again, and they're going to have. That's where they're going to set up the set and have everything there, which makes perfect sense because it's awesome.
Yeah,
they have these massive, beautiful cabins.
It's rustic.
Yeah, here you guys go. Here you go. That's unbelievable. So yeah, we're going to be doing. I know that they're doing Oilers stuff.
They're just going to be leg humping like crazy, hey? Like,
now, did I see Jeff Merrick is going to be there?
He is. Yep, I believe he's hosting something you're really going to enjoy. Some Battle of Alberta trivia. Us against Oilers Nation.
Great. Yeah, I saw that they had us doing something with Jeff Merrick, and they thought maybe I could do the post game interviews rinkside. With the winners and losers.
That'd be good.
I'd probably be good for that.
I like that more than the trivia. So, yeah.
Rhett, question for you. Now the weather looks good.
It does look good.
We're like highs in the single, like high of -6, high -4 kind of thing. So it's going to be great in terms of weather. What brown liquor should I be taking? Mountains, January.
I think you're a spiced rum.
High of -4. Today, high -5. Saturday, -4. Sunday, 0.
Sunday looks gorgeous.
I think you're a spiced rum because you can throw that in a whole bunch of different types of mix.
Okay. How would you feel about a one of those dark and stormies rinkside?
Could be.
Not bad.
You need once I get past two ingredients in there, it's like I just carried a whole bunch of
good ginger beer, a nice spiced rum.
Okay, good to know because it feels like a dark a brown liquor weekend.
Yeah, it's dry January.
You're gonna have the Yeti coolers there for you, so
that's right.
Be all
here's
set.
a good could go with the Boom Boo rum.
Oh, the Boom Boo.
Yeah.
See what he did there.
Oh, you did like that.
I do. You know what? I had it, and then you'd mix it with ginger ale, like a spice rum ginger kind of a thing. Mm-hmm. Very sweet. That's like what you should do is just have it on the rocks.
Yeah, that's a sipper.
No, we'll see. Now he's coming back and he's the Boomer rum. He's saying that Boom Boo. Yeah, I know, but you made the joke. So did you make the joke or did you actually make a spelling error?
Are you explaining?
Because we know it's Bum Boo, but you went with Boom Boo because
it's Boomers.
It was Boomcat.
Boomcat, Bumbo.
Oh my God.
Thank you.
By the way, did you see the big super chat coming?
I did. We'll get to it in a minute. Good. But we are going to Jasper. We're going to be doing stuff. I bought a new camera.
Oh,
it's awesome. We're going to maybe have some mic'd up Ryan Pinder on the ice.
Last time we did that, your Remchuk got bloodied.
To hear all of the highs and lows, all of the chirping, I can only hope that it goes a bit sideways and there is some actual, some truly kind of bad blood towards Pinder.
Yeah, the turds up north started shooting from half last year. Got a little heated early. It was like, look, it's early. If we're gonna start counting those, like,
what are we shooting from half? Well, what are we doing?
You shoot from half here, fellas. What are we doing?
And then there was some debate as to what the actual score was.
Yeah, they greased out some. Year 1, that's how they tied us. They greased the official, got an extra goal.
Yeah. Pinder is the Shorzy of barn burner.
Mm-hmm.
Probably. You should throw that get that on a tablet and watch that on the way up. Not that you ever do that, but you should get that and watch it. It'll get you right into the mindset for this. But we are going up. Looking forward to it. We will have some coverage for you. I would guess by next week we'll bring home some goodies as well. Booster Juice is the proud puck partner for the Jasper Pond Hockey Tournament. Powered by Booster Juice is what we are. Visit a location today to refuel, refresh, and re-energize. Download the new Booster Rewards app to earn, order, or enjoy. Get those berry points going. Those smoothies and drinks, food, get you through the day. Be healthy. Be smart. It's Booster Juice. And then, of course, Yeti. We're into the wild. And who is better in the wild than Yeti? Crave the cold. Extend your ice time with hard-hitting gear that's built to honor the toughest sport on earth. Hashtag crave the cold. Hashtag built for the wild. Yeti. Stay hydrated, folks. Stay hydrated.
Especially if you're doing yoga, Dean.
Mugs, coolers, chair. So yeah, where did because we kind of did.
So you went in
right
your yoga.
that.
You went in your yoga pants to the pub, and
No, you get changed after. It's hot yoga, so you're leaking. You need a shower after.
So how did you get from there?
so yoga, one of those healthy exercises, really good for you.
That's Wellness Thursdays. You guys haven't heard about this craze? Wellness Thursdays. It's the first weekly Wellness Thursday. Start with yoga, rehydrate.
Jack? Please, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
He's dancing, he's tap dancing around everything. What's the story?
Well, I got to the studio and I knew that he was already here because I was talking to him on the phone trying to arrange what to do with my car. And then I walked up the stairs and it was pitch black. So I was like, okay, where is this guy? And then a voice came out of his mouth and he was just sleeping on the couch.
Are you living at the studio?
No, I arrived at 8:05 this morning and thought this is a great opportunity for a little cat nap.
Not show prep. Cat nap.
Heavy show prep.
He's learning. He's got to get mentally prepared. I told you guys this the other day. You have to visualize. Good for you, Ryan. Way to take things. Way to take things seriously. Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Rhett.
The need for the 8:05 nap is usually kind of telling.
Just woke up an hour ago.
Right. Yeah.
I thought about it. I'm like, oh, Jack's gonna be wheeling in like late.
I knew something was up too because he's usually sending me a million like Instagram reels at this point in the morning.
I saved enough dumbass from earlier in the week. I'm gonna have some good nonsense. And then he's like, hey, would you want to run that Soroka thing for the Pinder? I'm like, yes.
Brilliant.
Yes.
Yeah. There it is.
That's why you make the big bucks.
Let's get into our bets for Bet365. It's a football weekend, the penultimate, I guess, even though there's a kind of a
Sadly,
we got 3 games left. Kind of a bummer.
Just like
kind
that.
But the thing about having something like Bet365 is it makes what's left so great. It's the world's largest sports betting platform. Download the app, get in there. Once the game's started, really the fun's just beginning. You keep rolling through every single play. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. 2 games. Only 2. But boy, they're big.
Yeah.
Who wants to start off?
Like huge?
They're huge.
Huge.
There's never been games like this. I mean,
there were games before. They were lower rated. Not nearly as popular as these games.
Actually, I'll go last, Jack.
Okay.
Why don't we'll go with Rhett because we know how he rolls. Retro, let's do it.
Oh baby,
I like it. I'm a Bills fan. I'm a Bills believer, and I actually do think they could take this one in KC. So that's the most obvious. The Commanders, I think they're hot. I think 6 points is good. I'll take the 6 points. I don't know if they win. I wouldn't be shocked. But more importantly, the reason I'm taking the Commanders is because I don't want to have to stop Saquon if the Bills get through to the Super Bowl.
Right.
So let's have the Commanders put an end to the Eagles season.
Wow.
And let's have a Bills Commanders. I believe there was a Bills Washington Super Bowl in the past.
We don't need to Google how that one went.
Nope.
Because we know how many Super Bowls
they have. We've been
right.
Yeah, it's best served cold, right?
All right, Ryan.
Yep.
I'm saying I really like the Eagles, but how do you not watch it Washington to Detroit and think 6 is a lot of points? Maybe they just hang around, or maybe the Jaden Daniels Cinderella story continues. I do like the Bills a lot. I just think the Chiefs have had an incredible stretch of luck combined with good, not great play. And the Bills, I think, could blow the doors off them here. Let's go.
There we go. So you and Rhett aligned?
Sharesies, samesies.
I am also
Jack?
going to align.
Oh, this is trouble.
I do like the Bills. We saw them play the Chiefs earlier in the season, and I thought the Bills handled them pretty easily. They won by 10. And then the Commanders and Eagles, 2 really fun games this season as well. I remember the last time they played, Daniels had like 3 or 4 turnovers, and they still ended up winning in the end. He's sensational. I think they win outright as well in Philly.
Wow. They won a lot of people over last week.
They did.
With that spread, yeah. I don't know how people are going to pick up straight up, but.
Well, I'll bring up the rear. And all I can say is, Rhett, you're welcome. What happened last week?
I don't believe you're doing it for me.
What happened last week?
Good question.
One guy.
Last week you said you were taking the other team because they were getting points and you thought the Bills could still win, but you'll take the points. This time you're just saying the Bills suck and they're going to lose.
Who was on the Ravens last week?
Dean.
One guy. And I said, you're welcome. Who's on the Chiefs this week? One guy. And again, Rhett, you're welcome. I have the Chiefs -1.5, and we're all in the Commanders +6.
That's trouble for the Commanders. It's
probably
Eagles by 1,000. Anytime we have full consensus, we're completely wrong.
Weather going to be in Philly as always, I think, this weekend, which does bode well for Saquon. This is full disclosure, Ed. This is purely a karma pick. Purely a karma pick.
Weather doesn't look to be an issue in either game. It looks like it's going to be just above 0 Celsius in Philadelphia with no precipitation expected. It's going to be a little cooler, right around freezing in Kansas City. Light winds in both. Buckle up.
What are the game times?
We've got
all 4 teams are used to playing outdoors. So
yeah.
1 p.m. start in Philadelphia and a 4:30 start in Kansas City.
Wow.
Oh, it's good stuff.
Man. Do you have plans yet? Big boy? Well, yeah.
I don't know. I woke up debating pub or private. Like sit on my couch, have my stuff, and be prepared. Can't decide. I'd like to go to the mountains, but I didn't get the invite.
Oh dear. Can't invite yourself at this point. You're at Warner.
Didn't get the invite.
Just invite yourself.
It's never stopped you in the past when you've wanted to be someplace.
There's a lot of things that I'm maneuvering around.
I got you. So the Pinder report today, it's a presentation of Village Honda, as always. Demo sales event is on. You can go and test drive the hybrid touring CRV. The 2025 is in stock. The great news came last week. Honda Civic Hybrid named the winner of the North American Car of the Year for a record-setting 4th time. It's Honda's world right now. They are crushing it, and no one's crushing it better than Village Honda, your dealership for life. You talk to Anthony, we're doing really well. Thank you very much. They're treating people right. The product is top notch. The service is the best you can get. I don't know why you go anywhere else. It's truly one of the, well, you could go here. Maybe it's a little bit, is it closer to this? Or just go to where you know you're going to get the best. That's the way you should just handle everything in life, shouldn't it be? Just should be the way you handle everything. But before we get to a special edition of the Pinder Report, we do need to do Super Chat. We told you right after the start of the show, if you put a little cash on the board, get into the YouTube comments, we're going to guarantee you an appearance on the show and take that donation and move it over to the Youth Centers of Calgary. There's Handsome Dan. He said he's doing it every time we see a Wolf win. He's putting money on the board. Another Wolf win, boys. This is for the kids. So which of your kids is your favorite? I don't have kids, but I know every parent has a favorite. Just between us girls, they'll never find out, as I'm sure they are too cool to watch their dad's show.
You can.
Depends on the day, handsome Dan. It depends on the day. The favoritism.
How about today? How about this day?
Today, the youngest.
Oh,
Yeah.
Very charming last night. Led me out of the dome.
Yeah.
Excited.
Yeah. How about you, Ryan?
well, the Unabomber and Mother Teresa are equally loved. They're unique and individual snowflakes.
Yeah. Yeah. How about you, Jack?
I don't have any kids.
Well, we can
That
talk.
you know of,
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, my daughter's been sick all week, so I'll go with my daughter. Poor
Oh,
gal.
sweetie.
And boys are dumb.
Yeah,
they're
boys
really
are dumb. Boys are
There's that word that you said to us all the time, but you haven't said to your daughter yet? No. That's right. Okay.
Yeah, if it ever happens to land, it's what? Well, no, we're not buying a pony today. It's Tuesday. There's no ponies today.
I've always wanted a pony, Dad.
Dad, pony.
Tubby, I need a horse.
Hey, Tubbs McGee, I really want a pony. All right, pony. Pony it is. So there we go. Thank you to Handsome Dan. Great donation there for the Youth Centers of Calgary. And so what do we? So we're gonna just we'll do this, and then it'll just be. This is it, Jack. This is we're saying goodbye right now.
Say your goodbyes.
All right. So what do we got here, Pinder? What are we gonna do?
Last Tuesday, hung out with Calgarian and all-around great guy Mike Soroka, who's just inked a one-year deal with the Washington Nationals. He's our Calgary major leaguer. He loves the show. He's a big Flames guy, and he invited us to come work out with him at the incredible Weber Academy athletic setup there for the indoor baseball setup. State-of-the-art training here in his off season, and thought he'd invite us out for a little fun.
Hey guys, it's Pinder. We're at Weber Academy. What are we doing here? It's the middle of winter. They got baseball. Hang on. Mike Soroka, Calgary's own, training here, getting set for the 2025 MLB season with the Washington Nationals. I'm an idiot. I'm going to stand in the batting box when he throws like 95. Let's go. Hey, it's another edition of Joe's Against Pro. No, it's not. How we doing, Mike?
Good, how are you?
Good. Okay, so we're here at Weber. Walk us through where you're at in your off season, and I guess your routine to get ready to throw. Today you're throwing a bullpen, but you obviously don't do that every day.
No, we're getting pretty close here. I'm only about a month to report, so official report day will be the 12th.
Okay.
Today got a little bullpen, and it's about a twice a week thing, maybe 3 times as we get into it, and trying to build a little stamina, a little pitch count. It's kind of, as a starter, you got to get going quite a bit earlier because you got to be ready to add pitch count once you get to spring training and go 2, 3, 4 innings. So we're just kind of going to take you through the big day here and big warm-up prep routine, and maybe get you some ground balls, and we'll be in a good place by the time you get in the box.
How long does it take when you show up in the building, get the gear on? What's that process like? I imagine in the 80s it was like rip a dart, get in there and throw, but things are a little more sports science in depth than they used to be.
Yeah, I think just with the way performance has been over the last decade, I mean, even when I got called up, it wasn't quite as, I don't want to say quite as good. I just mean it's a little more competitive now with what guys are doing off the field. And I think we kind of came into a place where I was one of the only kids that was drafted out of high school at that time that was in the weight room. That was benefit of being in Canada and having that winter to just kind of get bigger and stronger. But now, I mean, I travel around the facilities and I see kids that are about to enter the draft that are, miles ahead of where I was at that point, and a lot of it's due to this stuff in here. So It's probably a good hour before I start to throw.
Okay.
And most of it isn't necessarily just in the name of warming up. It's priming and preparing yourself to do the job that you want to do. We only get so many throws, right?
Yeah.
I can't sit down there and hit and,
take 1,000.
Yeah. You can take 1,000,000 hockey shots. You can rip it all day, and the worst thing that'll happen is you'll have some blisters, but you tape it up, get back out there. Whereas, me, I throw 1,000 baseballs today.
You're no good tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't think I'll be throwing much the rest of this year. So it's something you got to learn, but I think being here and being able to just kind of have this place to work out in has been amazing at home. I get to basically just be here all day and work on what I need to and take some snack breaks and get back to it. There's always stuff to work on. Always mobility to work on, always power and strength, stuff like that. So it's never ending.
Second full off season that this place has been fully functional and open. But when you talk about Weber, you used to train in Jupiter, Florida, and it's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. I think it was Jupiter, where you're down in a place where baseball is king, and you get people from all over the Caribbean and Americans training there in the winter, nice weather. You're choosing to stay in Calgary. That probably speaks volumes about the facility you're using here.
Yeah, obviously family's still here, and
of course,
everybody. This is still always going to be home for me, I think. So being able to have this place to come back to and know that I can work with Chris. We got some good competition with the high school kids that are in here and working out. It's a lot of fun to see them progress.
Okay.
So I'll still head south earlier. I'll head to Phoenix next week, actually. But
all right.
This is amazing because it allows me to kind of come back and have a great spot to work out. It's 10 minutes from where my parents' place is.
How good is that, eh?
Yeah, it doesn't get better.
And not like someone's garage, but a world-class facility.
Yeah, no, I don't have to worry about throwing into a wall for weeks on end, and just to be home and visit family. So very thankful that Dr. Weber put this place together. And it's pretty amazing.
Deadly. All right, we're going to stretch in a bit. We'll get out there, have some fun, but we're getting warm. And I'm really sick of pretending to do this bike. You're way too big. You're making me look tiny. We are rolling it out, Mikey. I love a good roll because when I walk around the gym, it's usually like just making up things to do rather than actually lift weights. Rolling, awesome for that. Really good for that.
Yeah.
What are you working on here?
I get tight real quick.
Okay.
So, it doesn't seem to matter what I do. I think I'm built for a little more stability rather than mobility.
Okay.
So this is something that I've had to do for, 2-3 years, big time, where I really realized that this is what I kind of had to spend time doing before and after workouts. I was saying it's one thing if you got somebody that can work on you.
The full-time staff,
twice a day. It's but we're not there yet.
Okay.
It's just the little things that kind of add up over time. I'm still shocked that if I'm traveling for a weekend or something like that, I come back and haven't really gotten a chance to take this stuff seriously. How terrible I feel.
Really, yeah.
And I wouldn't even say how terrible I feel. It's just a matter of once you know what it feels like to be at your best, anything less than that is just not acceptable.
I think of average Joes, and it's just like we're not finely tuned athletes, and you know exactly what peak performance feels like and looks like. And if something's a little bit off, it's like, well, how am I going to go strike out the best hitter in the National League, right? Like and peak performance has to work at both ends, right?
You make it work. You're never really going to feel 100 during the season. It's pretty rare that happens. And typically those are the days where you try and do too much and you get whacked.
Yeah.
So it's kind of one of those things for me where you're trying to just be as close to that as you can be.
Yeah.
And these are the little things that kind of add up for that. So, yeah, it's once you get the timing down too. I mean, you golf. Once you're used to that certain swing,
Yeah.
if something is abnormally tight on any other day, you have to adjust.
Yeah.
Because you got to find the new timing for that. And, you know, say you pop a rib out, you got a loose rib in the back, and all of a sudden you can't rotate the same, and you kind of got to figure it out on the fly. And
Sure.
That's where hopefully doing this stuff minimizes those days. So.
Okay, so we have you in studio. We usually catch up on the air at least once in off season.
Yeah.
Last off season, you'd spent your career with one professional organization, the Braves. They drafted you, they developed you, you came up through their system. And so while you certainly knew about the bigs, you had the perspective of one of the 30 organizations.
Yeah.
Last year, you're with Chicago. Now you've signed with a third organization. How much different organization have you noticed, or did, I guess, the pro sphere of MLB, now that you've been a team that won the World Series while you were there and one that was historically bad, like you probably got more perspective than you did.
Yeah. I mean, obviously it was a rough year for the White Sox. I mean, there's no real sugarcoating it.
Yeah.
You know, I think the sort of people get into mistakes is when they say, you know, it actually wasn't as bad as it looked. And, you know, you honestly, like, there was a lot that went out about the clubhouse, and I actually thought the clubhouse was just fine. You know, there was a lot of good guys on that team. It's just sometimes you're not built to win on a consistent basis. And, you know, we talk about that perfect storm of, you know, injuries and timing and things happening, and led to losing a lot of close games, and then you kind of get in a rut, and then, you know, before you know it, it's where it was at the end of the year. So, you know, I think there was a lot that I was able to learn from it, especially kind of getting a kick in the teeth and getting moved to the bullpen in May on the worst team in baseball. It's something that kind of wakes you up a little bit, and you realize that, you know, you have a career to play for, and regardless of where the energy is compared to being on the best team in the league, you got to show up and perform. And, you know, I'm proud of myself for being able to kind of pull through that and make sure that, you know, I put my best foot forward every day. And obviously it paid off to kind of turn things around for myself personally by the end of the year.
So that you're speaking of free agency, you signed a 1-year contract. What did you expect the interest would be from other teams, and what was your, I guess, free agency opens, World Series ends? What was it like going through that process?
It was fun. It was a lot of fun. I think, you know, Mark Pieper, my agent at ISC Baseball, actually, I am. ISC Baseball shirt here today, but, you know, he did a really, really good job of, you know, telling the full story to the teams that he talked to. I think he had 4 of us that were free agents this year, and was able to kind of go in those rooms and show people the differences between, you know, where I was at the beginning of the year and towards the end, and how it was intentional. You know, it wasn't just kind of something that I accidentally came into.
Yeah.
I think that was really important for him to be able to show that. And you know, after that, it was just kind of going to be a matter of whether these teams wanted to give me another crack at starting. That was my biggest thing. The dollar value at the end of the day came behind just the opportunity to start again. You know, I still think that's where my skill set lies best, and where I can affect the team the most positively. And you know, I'm looking forward to doing that. And you know, I had a great meeting with the Nationals. It was pretty clear out of the get-go that we kind of both had the same vision for what I wanted personally, as well as what I could provide for the team. It's a high-energy squad, a lot of young guys. We got a lot of prospects coming up, which, you know, I got to be that prospect in 18, 19 with Braves. So it was something that I thought would be a lot of fun joining on the other side. And yeah, I think it's going to be a good year.
You know the division really well too, which we spoke about. Like, it's, who are these guys? What do I? No. You faced a lot of these guys in the NL East. That's got to be comforting at some degree.
Absolutely. It's just the Phillies. I think the Phillies probably changed the least. since I've been there, and I pitched against them last year too. But I think that whole division, the familiarity of it, and the competitiveness in that division. Obviously, I know a lot of the guys personally that are with the Braves. It's going to be a fun one, getting to pitch against them all year.
No kidding.
I think, it always helps, and I told you it also helps kind of going out there as a pitcher where I don't need to read 100 reports. I don't need to feel like I'm going in, blind. I think that's fun too. That's the part of baseball that I enjoy is the actual game within the game. So,
sure, that chess match against the hitter. You've done it a lot with a lot of these guys.
Right, and I think it's a lot of fun once you get the rapport with those guys that they've seen you over the years. They've seen you change. They've seen ups and downs. I think you can get a lot from just watching how they're swinging, and you know what you're expecting. So it's gonna be a lot of fun.
I don't know if I want to get in the box with this guy. It's scary stuff. Bit of power here.
See, there's your old school warm-up.
You know what happened when I was in the bullpen? Get up, get ready. Wham! I'm ready. Now this guy's got to go, oh, I got to tighten my spancel, and I got to make sure all my
Spancel? What is a spancel?
Okay, so the season ends. How much Calgary time do you get? I mean, we all vacation in the summer. That's your work season. You get to vacation in the glorious Alberta winter.
It'd be a lot more fun if I could still snowboard.
Fair.
That's be a lot of the first thing I do when I retire. I hit the mountain,
slopes.
But,
yeah.
Actually, took my first actual vacation this year to Hawaii.
Come on.
So I hadn't taken one since pro ball started. So took those 10 days. Figured it was a good time to just kind of decompress and then get back to it. And I didn't really get home till mid-December. I moved to Arizona and did all that, and went. Just probably about 3 or 4 weeks here this off season, so a little quick.
One of the things you get to do is you get to watch your beloved Flames when you come back to Calgary.
Yep.
What were your expectations coming in this year? What's caught your eye? What are your thoughts on state of the Flames?
Yeah, I mean, we all knew it was going to be, young. There was kind of an opportunity for those guys to come up and play a little bit and kind of show what they'd been doing in the A for the last few years. I mean, I feel like there's been talk. You guys have been talking about a few of them for a long time now, and it's good to see them in action. And being able to relate to what it's like to be at the top and the adjustments that need to be made. And, obviously, I was excited to watch Sharon Govich again this year. He was a lot of fun last year, and I think eventually he'll figure it out. And we were talking earlier, just gotta kind of keep getting pucks to the net, and I think we get there. But there's a lot of talent on the ice. It's just kind of going to be, I guess we'll see what they want to do by the deadline here and figure things out. But I always want to see a competitive team, and they're working hard, so I can appreciate that.
As a former goalie, as a failed goaltender, how much do you love too small Dustin Wolf?
It's honestly so we went and saw a couple preseason games a couple years ago, and he did. I was like, geez, there's quite a bit of room at the top, but once you get a chance to watch him on a nightly basis, I mean, he's just so fast. And actually was in Indianapolis, spoke to one of the goaltenders there for the EC team there. Yeah. And I asked him about Wolf, and he's like, man, he moves like nobody else. And I wish the big frames could move like that. But, it's something that is lost in today's game a little bit, but it's cool to watch him go do that. And the hop at the beginning to show off a little athleticism.
I love it,
fun too.
The pounce on the skates. I haven't seen that before. So what is it, a couple games in off season, and then you keep tabs when you'll be back in mid-Feb in terms of down south, harder to find the games on TV perhaps?
Yeah, NHL Network comes in handy. It's only one this year got to go to, and it was a good game, but I'd like to be able to be there a little more, and it's fun to follow the guys. I think there was some laughs. We're sitting right behind the bench, and Tate McRae was at that game up the score, and you could see the peaks up the bench, and made me laugh because we sneak our peaks depending on who's at the games too. So it's kind of fun to see that from the stands.
Well, you got to invite Tate down. You might be spoken for. Okay,
probably not. Probably not for me.
Someone else. All right. We're going to do something crazy. I'm going to get out and see if I'm still alive after Mike throws 90-something near me.
Well, maybe we'll get some shoulder pads for you, but
yeah,
as long as they're not Lombergs, I think they'll do something.
Okay, awesome. Looking forward to it. This is dumb decisions, but it's me, so I'm used to these, right? That should make it easier. You can hear it ripping the air. Like, holy fuck. What pitch?
Let's run one in here.
Oh yeah, fuck.
Let's just do it.
Thanks, guys. Did you move that on me, or am I just a huge chicken shit?
That's a curveball.
That's a curve, okay. Oh.
The hardest thing for me to have done was see a right-on-right breaking ball.
Yeah.
Like you saw that one coming like right here.
Yeah, I'm like, that's hitting me.
Like, oh, I gotta get out.
And it just, that's a strike.
That wasn't a good one even.
Well,
those are ones that pop where good hitters typically are gonna see that, stick in,
okay,
and then catch it.
Yeah. Hey, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Ton of fun. Have a great year.
Thank you.
We're all rooting for you. Calgary loves you. You're a great kid. We want to see good things happen to good people, and I think you got a great opportunity this year.
Appreciate you guys coming in. It's a lot of fun. We've been talking about it for a while.
Yes.
So I'm glad we finally got it in.
Mostly chalked up to me being a chicken shit, but we survived.
You did good.
My kids still have a dad. Success.
You did good.
Thanks, buddy.